And then a little extra sauce if someone wants some.
So here you go.
Wow, that looks delicious.
When you want to plate it. Now you tell me, look at this one. And then look at this one. I think I like this one better. And I didn't make it so thick. So, oh yeah, see, do you like it? Nadia?
Yeah, it's delicious. Yeah.
Oh.
There you go.
Hi.
Hi.
We're so excited.
Right. Well, first of all, let us introduce you first. We'll call out your name, introduce yourselves. In general, where do you live in the Pacific Northwest? Because I'm assuming you're all from the Pacific Northwest somewhere, right?
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, you watch the show or my cooking videos or follow me on social media. All three or just one? I don't know. Why don't we start with Nadia?
Yeah, hi, that's me. So my name's Nadia. This is my sister Summer. We're actually twins. Yeah, and we are huge fans of everything you do. So I just had a baby 3 months ago, and I asked my sister, what should I watch when I'm up in the middle of the night breastfeeding? Like, what should I watch? And she's like, watch Little People Big World. We have watched it, and I was like, I'm going to start it from the beginning. So we've just been going through the seasons one by one.
Yes.
And
We live in Estacada too. I don't think you said.
we're from Estacada, and
We love you.
yeah,
We I think we go motorcycle riding by there a lot.
it's beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Clackamas probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
I live in Happy Valley, so you're just
Oh,
around
wow.
the corner.
Yeah, cool. And we follow you on Instagram. We watch your cooking videos. We do it all.
All
So-
the above.
Well, thank you so very much. Did you have a boy or a girl?
A girl, my second daughter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks for joining me. I mean, this is just a crazy cooking show that I want to do and
Threw together.
I'm just kind of glad people follow me. So
We're so excited.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Melissa. Yeah.
Hey
Hello.
everyone,
Hi.
my husband. Yes, we live in Lacey, Washington.
Oh, yeah.
And we moved here in 2019. I'm originally from Texas. He's from the Pacific Northwest.
I'm from Oregon, Salem originally.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
We moved here to be closer to his family. Yeah, I've been following the show forever.
She was so excited when she found out how close Hillsborough was.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've
Well,
been ever since we've been here. We've been going to pumpkin season, and
okay.
yeah. So, and then we actually met you last year at pumpkin season. So it was a quiet pumpkin season last year, but
Oh, yeah. Especially if you've been here before. Last year was much more subdued.
yeah,
And I think some of that had to be just because we're all in masks because it was COVID.
yeah,
And we're managing the crowds a little bit more and
Right.
stuff. And I don't know what quite Matt's doing, but it's going to kind of be over there on that side, but with a little more stuff, I think,
yeah,
for this year. And I think because of this variant and COVID and because
Right.
we are a public event thing going on, we have to abide by different things than if it was a private thing. So hopefully we'll see you, but I'll be there dressed in costume. That's what kind of makes it interesting for me. So thank you so much for watching the
No,
show.
thank you for having us, and we decided we're gonna watch you cook.
Okay,
That's fine.
But no, we're excited to be here, and yeah, thanks for inviting us.
yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate you being here. Okay, Riley, right?
Yep, Riley and her grandma.
Hi. My name
Hi.
is Riley. This is my grandma. Her name's Carol. We're from Eugene, Oregon. And I've been watching the show ever since I was a little girl. I'm only, I think, 2 years younger than your son, Jacob. And so
Oh,
I
wow.
kind of related, to I don't know, living in the Pacific Northwest, growing up here, it's so
Yeah.
beautiful and we love it. And I wanted to bring my grandma because cooking is kind of our thing we do together.
Good.
When my grandpa passed away last year, but while he was in hospice, we did so much cooking for him.
Yeah.
So cooking for us is just really special. And yeah, I'm so excited. You have anything to say?
And Grandma, what's your name?
Carolyn.
Carolyn. Okay, Carolyn. Well, good to have you here. I could probably learn a thing or two from you.
Well, maybe, probably not though.
Well, I don't know. I like comfort food. I like good food and just not complicated food. I really like to be able to look in my pantry and, okay, what am I in the mood for? And that's why, I tell a lot of people when we do these things, I'll tell you, I try and get out as many recipes as I can, but writing down all the recipes is probably my hardest part, because as I'm doing the video and stuff, I'm kind of like, okay, we're going to add this, or we're going to add this. And then by the time I'm done with the video and a couple of days have passed, I'm like, crumb, what did I do? Like, what did I add? Like, I got to write up this recipe because was it a teaspoon? Was it a tablespoon? I don't know. So it takes me a little bit longer to do the recipe actually than to actually cook. So anyway, let me ask you guys a question, or just raise your hand or whatever. Have you made the recipe? No?
We have the stuff here to make it with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because if you haven't and you don't have the stuff, that's fine too. Just like the email said. If you want to make it along with me, great. If you don't, that's great. Make it later, that's great. I'm assuming y'all like salmon. Yes? Okay. This is a local salmon that I got at the farmer's market yesterday. And where's that part? Did I throw it away already?
No, over here.
Here. No, the one with the tail.
A fin or?
Oh, yeah. Oh, listen, this was freshly caught, maybe early that morning or the next day. In fact, it is so fresh that, see the tail? I had to cut that part off. But there's probably still a lot of good meat.
Yeah.
So it would be good like in a stew or like a soup, and then your pieces of salmon would come off. But this is fresh, totally fresh. And I like shopping local, but if you get frozen salmon or whatever, that's fine too. The biggest part is trying to get it thick enough and even enough so that everything cooks in the same amount of time. Like I've got a couple of flat ones, which will cook a little quicker. So you might have to take that off first before these thicker ones cook. But in general, it might take about 20-25 minutes.
And how many ounces are these? About
Oh boy.
4
I don't-
or 5?
Well, see, I don't know. Because I got it local. They didn't have it all pre-weighed and everything.
I'd say about 4
So-
4 to 4 ounces.
Each piece?
Yeah.
Well, I would say this one's probably, 3 to 4, 3 to 4, 3,
This might be
3 to 4. This might be 2, 3, maybe. But you just kind of want them the same thickness and everything. So
And you left the skin on the bottom.
I did leave the skin on them because to me, it is way too hard to take the skin off. And when you cook it, it is a lot better to,
Take it out of the pan.
yeah, the skin just comes off the salmon, or even when you eat it, it's easily scraped off of the skin and stuff like that. So Nadia, you can unclick. So if you have any questions, just let me know.
Sounds good.
So I have already gone ahead and salted this.
Okay.
The one thing that I wanted to do ahead of time as we prep this salmon, in my directions, I have the wine. And I just thought about it, the wine and the berries. So it's 1 cup of wine and 2 cups of Marion berries.
Red wine.
Or these are just really blackberries, because I don't think I got any Marion berries. I think they're gone. I didn't see any at the farmer's market.
We
So
didn't see any either.
What?
We didn't see any either. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
they're fine. I think
I think they are
blackberries
too.
are in now, but.
So I suggested cooking this just for a little bit because I think it's a lot easier to strain berries when they're soft than when they're fresh. It's, to me, it's just too hard.
you wanna get
So I'm going to go ahead and have Lisa do the mashing and getting this straining of the berries and the wine through the mash because you kind of want a sauce, unless you don't mind seeds, but other people will, especially when you're eating it with salmon and, you know, stuff like that. When I do a berry pie, I don't bother seeding my
No.
berries. It's too much work. But for a sauce, I think it's good. So Lisa, I'm going to have you here, use this pan, and you're just going to set yourself right here. I already used the strainer because I already have a whole thing done for you, just in case we run out of time. So we're just gonna pour the berries and the wine. Let me know if I'm jumping ahead of you,
How
Nadia.
long did you cook this for?
I only cooked it maybe for about 5 minutes, maybe
Okay.
10 at the most, but I would say about 5 minutes. You just want to warm it up. You want to warm the berries up so that, you know, the berries are a little more plump
Okay.
instead of as hard, because hopefully you'll notice it's
Yes.
a lot easier to mesh this.
Well, and you guys can be cooking that while I'm doing it too. We'll just check in.
Perfect. It's on the stove. Yep.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
This small one? or-
Yeah, I started off with the small one. You might want to use the bigger one later, but yeah,
Oh, yeah.
use some of that arm muscle, man.
Easily. It easily, where can I show you? It just smushes right
Yeah.
in. It's
See,
perfect.
yeah, it's so much
Then the
easier
berries beans.
because I've
Yeah.
seen other recipes and they just said, you know, just strain it. But I like it
That
warmed
works
up.
really well.
You know, I like it warmed up. Okay, so we got our berries. We're starting on our sauce. You could prep and do everything with your salmon and make the sauce later. That's perfectly fine. So let's get on with the hazelnut crust. So I have, oh yeah, here's some. Oh boy. I tell you people, this is not Rachel Ray. So forgive me if I'm a little squirrely. But
You may have had a little glass of wine before.
I did not. In fact, I do have a little bit of cab. So if you do
Oh.
want some.
Sure.
And I think another good wine for this, obviously, since we do live in the Northwest, would have been Pinot Noir. So I have 2 cups of roughly chopped hazelnuts. You just want to cut in half or whatever.
Again, Pacific Northwest, hazelnuts, yum.
And tell you the truth, I really love hazelnuts.
I love them too.
So I've got about 2 cups in here. And then what else are we going to do? Oh yeah, a little bit. No, the salt was for the salmon. Okay, thyme.
Fresh
Where's my
thyme.
thyme?
Right. Oh, here, over here, I got it.
She did some of my stuff, so.
We stripped.
Are we
the-
going too fast, Nadia?
Yeah. Let her
You guys are good. We just needed you some, you didn't hear our blender. So, yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay.
Well, I tell you, I did a berry tart.
Mhm.
And I was looking at the recipe because at the video because I couldn't remember exactly what I did. I'm gonna have to redo it. The video is horrible. I'm like, oh my gosh, Amy, what? You're gone for a month or two, you know, because of the wedding planning. And I did this
She was
video, and I'm like, even in editing, horrible. So I deleted most of it except the picture. So I'm gonna quickly redo that one.
Well,
Of course,
congratulations.
summer's over and everyone's into fall recipes, but anyway.
Yeah,
Mhm.
very true.
Okay, so I've got the 2 cups of roughly chopped hazelnuts in there. We're gonna add about 2 teaspoons, more or less. I think the biggest thing is you just don't wanna overpower. I have done that sometimes when I quote wing it. I'll say, oh, well, this doesn't look like enough, and I'll pour more and more in it. And it's like sometimes a subtlety is better than overdoing it. So, okay.
Was
we got
that the
3
tarragon?
Pardon?
fresh thyme.
Was, oh, the time. Okay.
Yeah, fresh thyme.
And do you guys know how to take the thyme off the stem?
Yes. Like you're doing there.
Yeah,
Go
you
up.
just until you strip it down.
Perfect.
You all know how to do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we muted? No, we're not. Oh.
So yeah, you just take it and you go the opposite end of, you know, it usually grows up this way, the leaves. So you just zip it down the opposite way. So anyway, we got our hazelnuts. We have our thyme in here. Oh, I forgot to get panko. Where did my panko go?
Over here.
Aren't you glad you have me, sous
I
chef?
know.
I'm the sous chef.
Where
We
are
think
you every time
We
I
think
do
you guys
these?
grab a glass of wine
Oh, good.
Oh,
Okay, we're sipping on
And
it. Oh,
look
yeah,
at
you
their
gotta do
shirts.
this.
or a beer, he said.
Oh, yeah, you got Roloff
Oh,
farm
yeah.
shirts on.
We have our shirts on.
Oh, very cool. That is very cool. I just think panko crumbs gives the nut crust a little bit of crunch, and it also helps brown it. Oops. So we got a half a cup of that. Yes. Oh, yeah. Sorry. We're gonna do a little bit of lemon zest. I don't know, because it's fresh. What are you doing there?
good. So I have a mash, so we don't need that, right?
No,
But
but
just keep
are we
going.
done? Because watch this. Did you do this? This is what I found.
Oh.
I
Show
gotta
the camera so they can
Well, I have to, oops. What I found out, see the bottom of it? That you gotta scrape your strainer. Because that's where all the good
goodies.
stuff is. Because the berries, when you mash the berries, it sticks to the strainer. So maybe just try and mash it just a little bit more.
Okay,
Yeah.
you can do that.
Okay. Tarragon. I don't have fresh, so we're just gonna use a little bit of dried. I like dry because it's not a licorice, but it has a little bit of citrus or a little bit of like a little sweet to it, and I think that will help with the crust, especially when you do the berry sauce. So I don't know, about a quarter of a teaspoon. I don't think I added salt to this, did I? No. A little bit of salt. Hey, if you guys have any other questions, little
Yeah.
pinch of salt here. And I think we are good to go.
Yeah, I think people did have questions. We had a few come in.
Whoa, whoa, Nelly. Riley, what is your favorite thing about living in the Pacific Northwest? That is a tough one. Well, one of my most favorite things is all of my kids were born here. So the Pacific Northwest will be where I stay because I'm originally from Michigan and I love my home state. But I don't know, I like being close to the ocean. I like being close to the river. Obviously, Michigan is surrounded by water and has a lot of lakes. I like hiking. I love the mountains. I like the things you can do outdoors. I love taking the road trips, and I especially like that it still has the 4 seasons, maybe at least where we live in the valley here, the Willamette Valley. It doesn't have the extreme weather, but you can go to the snow or you can go to the ocean and stuff like that. So that's really what I love. A question from Melissa is, will I be attending pumpkin season this year at the farm? Yes, I will. I'll dress up in costumes because I don't know. Oh, that's my oven. Oops, hang on. It's not my smoke alarm. Believe me, that
Thank
has gone.
goodness.
That has gone off a couple of times.
During film.
Oh gosh. Anyway, so yeah, I'll dress up in costumes. I like it, and if kids show up, I just think it's kind of fun. And I don't do anything weird or scary, or that's just not my thing. Anyway, So Nadia, what inspires you to create new recipes? Oh my gosh.
Chris?
Well, no, he's so simple when he eats. Oh my gosh, cooking for Chris. It's like if I have meat and potatoes, we're fine. I'm like, but I love vegetarian dishes. Oh, I love all these vegetables. In fact, I went to the farmer's market. I've got zucchini, tomatoes, eggplant, probably some other stuff in there. So I think I think a simple green vegetable to this dish would look nice, but because I have all of that, I'm going to probably slice them in smaller chunks and just kind of really do a quick saute of them, or even a quick roasting of those, or do a quick saute of the eggplant and the zucchini, or maybe I'll roast the eggplant and the tomatoes, add them to the zucchini, and just have that as a side, along with rice and a little bit of parsley. But anyway, so what inspires me? Tell you the truth, I think looking at how other people cook, looking at magazines, cooking magazines. I follow a lot of people that cook, especially bakers, because I will admit I am not a forte on baking. I have a hard time, dry and wet. What's a good combination so your cake doesn't fall flat, but it actually is fluffy. Or the other thing is yeast. Oh my gosh. But and then I think just trying different things. It's really how I fell in love with cooking. I started when I was about 14 cooking for my family. I winged it a lot. I followed the 17 magazine when it was around. I don't know if it still is, but they had these little one little recipe in there. And I used to cook those a lot, or I'd read a recipe and I'm like, okay, but I don't like this, or I want to switch it up and do that. Some people have a passion for it. I wish I knew a lot more about cooking in the sense of the technicalities of cooking. And I don't all the time. And that's why I love some of the people on, like Bobby Flay. I tell everyone, I watch Bobby Flay on Brunch with Bobby. And he actually said, he had a little piece of paper with stuff written on it. He goes, I can't memorize all these recipes. And I need my little cheat sheet notes. And I'm like, it's about time you made it like real. Like that's how people cook.
Yeah.
That's half the fun, is figuring it out.
Yeah. And I can't memorize this, even though I just came up with it. 'Cause I'm so afraid that if I tell you like a teaspoon, but I'm like, oh dear, man, I should have added more or less. And then I freak out and all this other stuff.
It always comes out good.
So I think it's just a combination of a lot of stuff. I love cooking. I love food. I love conversation. I love people. I love gathering around the table, or going out to eat for me is still an event. I don't do it enough. And that's okay, because I like my kitchen. I like being home. I like having people come to our house, and I'm so glad that Chris does too. He may get a little frustrated because I think I have plenty of time prepping for the food and getting it done before everyone arrives. But I often am like, oh, wait a minute, guys, can I finish up the video? Like I got one last thing to do. And so he wished that I was a little more on time. But you know what? Hey, that's the way it is. I keep trying. That's the thing, is I keep trying. So anyway, let's get this thing going. Okay, do I have everything here? Yes, we got the lemon zest. We got the tarragon.
Lemon juice.
No, that's for the
got it.
Cabernet berry sauce.
Okay, sorry.
We got salt. I'm going to delete the pepper for right now. We got the thyme. Okay, we are ready. It's set to go. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pulse all of the ingredients first before I start adding the oil, because I really want to see I don't want it so minced that by the time I add the oil, I have paste. Now, if I'm not saying anything that I put in the directions, please correct me or ask me. And the one thing about a food processor it pulses or grinds up most of the food, but you always have a few of those bigger chunks. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with those? Okay, I think that looks good. Oh, you know, when doing my planning for my wedding and everything, because I just got married August 28th. Etsy is a really fun place. I didn't realize how fun that was. I bought some signs, and in fact, I don't even know if we added. Did we even find the lace thing for the big bridal table?
No.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Anyway, you know what? You think you have all this time to decorate. We were decorating Wednesday. We were decorating Thursday. We were decorating Friday. And I'm like, how is it I still feel like I did not decorate?
Oh, it was beautiful.
my
It
gosh.
was beautiful.
Anyway,
Last year, and Etsy is the place to go for wedding. we buy most of our stuff from Etsy.
and it's really fun because, you know, you're buying from someone who's creating something.
Oh, exactly. You're helping someone, you know,
Yeah. And some of the stuff you can find at the craft store, the fabric store, or anything. But I thought, well, if it can get here on time, I'd rather buy it from someone who took the time, you know, to make it.
Make it, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, well, the reason I brought that up is because I bought this from Etsy, my little
Ooh.
Oh,
olive
nice.
oil container. So anyway, okay. I'm not going to tell you the exact amount of this, but I would say start off with no more than a tablespoon at first, because that may be all that you need. You don't want it so wet that you're pulsing it and it now turns more into a paste. You don't want that. I think I might have overdid it slightly on that over there. But anyway. Really, you just want it all to come together a little bit so you can kind of form the hazelnut crust on the salmon. Because when it's dry, it doesn't have anything to adhere to, and it just kind of crumbles off.
And nuts have oil in them too, so.
Yep. And some nuts are drier than others, so it just all depends. See, I think that might be enough.
That looks perfect. So
Oh,
it's
just a
still
little more.
crumbly, but it sticks together.
Yeah.
Very good.
And then if you guys are unsure, guess what?
There,
Just pinch it a little bit. Yeah, I think that might be enough. I might do just a little bit more. Oh, yeah, I did do lemon zest in here, didn't
Yes.
Oh.
Olive oil.
I? Yeah,
So now you've
just
got
a pinch more.
another teaspoon.
I don't think you should need more than you should not need more than 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Okay, there we go. Where are you guys with me, Nadia? Are you there?
We're all caught up. So we're with
All
you.
right.
Yeah.
So just gonna do this.
Done with the lemon zester.
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay, I'll just put it up.
So here's the salmon. What we're gonna do here is I'm just gonna take a spoonful and kind of just pat it down on my salmon. And hopefully it will stick for you guys. Yeah, see, I think the first time I
This is her second go round.
I know. I mean, it's been a long time since I've thought about this dish, so, but it's one of those things that I just made it. I didn't write anything down. So we're just gonna kind of pat it down on the salmon. Oh yeah, I like this batch a lot better than my first one. But you know, the thing is, my first batch will taste okay. It's just that I will know what I did different. Maybe no one else. Okay, where are we at that? Okay, we're at that. Okay.
Want this on the stove?
Well, we got to add other stuff, and I don't think I have it all measured out yet. Now, when I made this, you know, earlier today, pretty much I got done like maybe 10 minutes before I'm on with you guys. I'm debating how to do the sauce.
Yeah.
I drizzled it over the top, but because it was thick, I'm not sure I'm a fan of it. So I'm not sure if I'll just have the salmon sit in there, but if that's the case, you know, when you plate it, you know, just put a circular of the Cabernet berry sauce and then just set your salmon there. But then you have the skin, but I think that's okay because when you use your fork, take a bite, you can just swirl it in the sauce if you want.
Or you could make it not so thick.
Well, that too. Because I found that the sauce, the crust soaks it up. So anyway.
Yum.
Or if you don't want the crust, you can just, I'm good. So here we go. All right, good job. 375 degrees for maybe about 20, 25 minutes. And if you're unsure, you know, you can always use a thermometer or just slice one of the thicker pieces and just open it up a little bit. But I have found maybe about 20 to 25 minutes should be okay. Okay. All right. So we are going to be on to the sauce. So Lisa has graciously mashed the berries on here. And obviously, well, you can't tell, I guess.
Yeah,
It's very
blackberries
liquid,
too.
you know, very liquid. So we are going to go ahead and what are we doing here? Lemon zest. So you want to zest a little bit? Just do a little bit of that. Remember, don't get the white part.
Right.
So that'll be tart. Okay.
A little bit more.
Let me see.
Because you said 1 teaspoon.
Yeah, about a teaspoon.
So good.
I think we're good. And then if you want to squeeze this in there again, in that zester. I use this lemon squeezer. I said this on a couple of my other videos because I don't have the dexterity of the long fingers to grip the. Oh no, I'm going to change that. Oh, you know what? I changed the fresh lemon juice to maybe about 1 teaspoon, possibly 2. It depends. I was afraid that I would make it too tart. Okay, forget this.
Here.
Well, I wasn't sure if I used it all. So I
Oh,
wanted
yeah,
to use the
there's
rest
a
of it.
teaspoon in there right there.
Okay. Does that look good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, juice it all out. All right, good stuff.
Got it.
So as I was saying, I don't have the dexterity to squeeze the lemon like you see in all the other cooking shows. So that's why that lemon squeezer is what I love. So anyway, okay, what else are we doing here? 2 to 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. I started off with 1. I'm going to add just a little bit more into that. I said 2. I'm going to modify this recipe a little bit, but I do say in here, be careful of your sugar. Unless you want a sweeter sauce, then, you know, fully add the 2 to 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. But I started off with 1. And I think that was pretty good for me, but I'm just going to add a little bit more to this. Okay. Then you can add that. So what else do we got here? I didn't have fresh ginger, so see, again, the other thing I have 1 tablespoon of fresh ginger, but I should have said ground, powdered ginger works just as well. But you don't need a tablespoon. So I'm just using ground ginger here. So I have to modify the recipe I sent to you guys. So I will modify it and then resend it to you guys.
About a teaspoon, little over.
Yeah, it's just about a teaspoon.
I'll put more.
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Okay. Now we're gonna get this baby cooking, and I think,
Can you taste it?
no,
No?
I'll taste it after it cooks.
I want
little
to
bit.
taste it. What does
Okay.
it taste like?
Well, you gotta, like, the ginger hasn't had a chance to melt through,
Mhm.
and the sugar hasn't had a chance to dissolve, so it may not taste that great.
It's not sweet.
No,
Even with the brown sugar, it's not sweet, but it cuts that.
but I think it cuts the tartness
Mhm.
of the wine. The berries still have a little bit of obviously sweetness to themselves. So that's why I'm gonna modify this. Start off with 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. If you want more, add a little bit at a time.
Right. But
And
again, it's
then-
not supposed to be a sweet sauce.
I didn't want it as sweet
Yeah.
sauce, no. So, yeah. So we're gonna get this going. We're gonna boil this, get to a low boil or a rolling boil, reduce it to a low boil. And in fact, I don't think I put the time on here. Yeah, it might take 15 minutes, but it could take longer. Because you want the sauce to reduce to get thick.
And while you're doing that, I wanted to also say Pacific Northwest Jacobson Salt Company.
Oh, yeah.
That's who you use for the
I
salt.
use it for all of my salts now just because it's local and they have a lot of interesting combinations.
Mhm.
And so,
Have you
yeah.
ever heard of them before? Yeah, the salt actually comes from Netarts Bay, Oregon. They make it out of the sea water. So if you get a chance, look for their salts. Like she said, they have lots of combinations.
I think you can find it at Fred Meyer's. I think a lot of your variety of the Jacobson salts are maybe more in your specialty stores because we have this place called The Meeting Place. It's a butcher shop. And so they have a lot of the varieties like lemon and rosemary salt or,
They have a port wine salt.
yeah, they have a port wine. They have a black garlic salt. Oh, so good.
Jalapeno salt.
Yeah.
It's great.
So what are we doing now? We are waiting for the salmon to cook. And if it's not cooked in time, I hope it is. But if it's not cooked in time, I will show you the results of when I did it earlier today.
So
But
it's-
I am going to do it both ways.
Okay,
Meaning I might just put, I might plate one
yes.
and
then
show it and then put the rest on the platter.
Okay,
That's what I may do this time.
okay.
Because when you're serving a lot of people, I don't know if you'll just serve it on a platter or if you'll plate it individually. So I'm gonna plate one and then put the rest on the platter. I think because I'm not liking that. I'm not liking how it looks.
She's
And I
looking
guess-
at one that she already made it
Well,
before
I guess
this.
stop talking about it, Amy, and actually show them
Yeah.
so they know what you're talking about.
I think the sauce was too thick.
Well,
And I
yeah.
think if you just drizzle lightly,
See how thick the sauce got? But I think it soaked into the crust. And for some reason, why I wasn't expecting that, I have no idea. So what I'm thinking is, because I didn't want a runny sauce, is that, just drizzle it on the plate or around the salmon when you plate it,
and then
or just
yeah.
put it on the platter and then plate your salmon in there. And then the parsley will look a little bit fresher instead of sticking to the sauce. Trial and error, people, trial and error. I always tweak it.